Today we're on a 2000 model 7.3, and we're going to change the upper radiator hose from the one that goes through the fan belt to the one that goes around the fan belt. Ford calls it the hose they use on the dual alternator trucks. We're also going to change the thermostat housing. You can see it's pretty corroded down there, and we're going to change the thermostat. First off, you need to drain the radiator down to basically below the thermostat. Easy way to do that is there's a drain valve in the bottom driver's side of the radiator. Put a bucket underneath it, open the drain valve, drain it out until the reservoir bottle basically is empty, and then you're down pretty good. Okay, first thing we're going to do is take off the radiator hose. I've already loosened up the clamps to make it easier for the video. Get that hose out of your way. Next, you're going to take that thermostat housing off. Now, if you look down in here, you can actually see where this thermostat's been leaking for quite some time. That's not uncommon with these. They rust out from the inside, they corrode, and then they lose their seal. You will reuse these bolts for your new thermostat housing. If you either break them or you decide that you want to put new ones in, you can go to any Ace Hardware. They're standard 6mm bolts. As you can see, pretty nasty. We're going to replace this with the Dieselsite solid billet aluminum piece. Now we're going to remove the gasket. Next, you're going to remove the thermostat. Sometimes these can be stubborn. Corrosion builds up, and you may have to pry on them to get them out. You're going to want to get the sealing surface as clean and dry as possible. So remove any of the coolant that's down in the hole near the sealing surface. Clean off any of the old gasket material, and when you're all done, make sure you wipe it down one more time just to make sure you've got a nice clean surface. Here's the new Dieselsite thermostat. This is our 203-degree version. The factory thermostat is 192. Now, why did we do this? We did this because the engine was actually designed by International in 1994. The Power Stroke came out with a 203-degree thermostat. The International water pump was different, so of course the thermostat physical size is different, so you can't use an International thermostat. But we came out with one to bring the engine back to its original spec'd out heat. So many people wonder, why would we want to raise the engine temperature on a diesel? Because the fuel is actually combusted from heat, and the more heat you can generate, the better the fuel combusts, the lower the exhaust gas temperatures, the better efficiency and fuel economy the truck gets. Okay, the thermostat and our billet housing both come with a brand new gasket. You only need one, but we put one in each box just in case somebody only buys one from us. So the thermostat goes in, the gasket goes back in on top, and then the billet housing is going to sit on top. Now you don't necessarily need any RTV or anything else. This should seal it just fine. But sometimes imperfections in these water pump castings and such, if somebody has a little bit of a leak or they just want to be on a safe side to begin with, you can go ahead and put a little RTV on this outside surface here, just on the flat surface, a real thin layer, before you set it down. Reinstall all 3 bolts and evenly tighten them in a circular pattern. Put this hose on here. Obviously the new hose is pretty sticky. You're working in tight spots. Sometimes it's a little easier just to give yourself a little lubricant. Amsoil's MP works great. WD-40, anything to lubricate that hose just a little bit. After you put this hose on, this band right here was really designed for, and the factory used it in dual alternator trucks. They would have a hose clamp there. You can put a hose clamp around that, or just as easy, just put a zip tie on there. You're just making sure the hose doesn't come forward into the belt.